Right, let's carry on with this. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to come up in here and use some of this yellow again, this orangey yellow. I'm going to put some of that up in there on the tops, around where that blue is, just in there, because I know that in here I'm going to have some nice layers of clouds and stuff for the highlights to this cloud, and then it actually comes in to here, so I'll use a little bit of that. Now I'll just use a bit of white into that, there, into that colour. Putting some of that white into the areas where I put the yellow, especially up in here. So I've got some highlights going on there. I'm going to have some nice areas in there too. So I'm back to the lavender colour, and just in this area here there's a few little bits that come through into there a little bit. It's not all just it's a nice lavender mix. You can make it lighter by adding the white, that's fine. But I want to leave a lot of these lighter spots on the tops of the clouds in there. So I'm just putting a few bits of colour underneath, just in there. I don't want to get it too strong, I want to be quite careful with this. Alright, back to the red. Like a crimson red, if you like, is this that I'm using. Put that red in there. Don't want to overdo it, because I don't want it too dark. The more red that you put in, the more blue you have to do to counterbalance the red, you see, and then it just makes it darker and darker all the time. Try and avoid that if we can at all costs. So in here, where I've got this lovely yellow tone, I just want to gently blend that into there so it just disappears basically from dark to light, just in there. Right up into that bit, mix it with the blue that's in there. That's it, we're getting a bit of nice contrast with that, and that's exactly what we're after. Getting some lovely contrast in there. Right, see how dark that is, if it's dark enough. It's getting there. So I'm going to blend that out a bit more. See if I can pick up some of this dark colour and apply some up in there. There, no, I just killed it. I just killed it. So I'm just going to go back in again with the yellow. Apply some white on the top of that, where the sun's zinging off of it basically. While I'm doing that, I'm just going to come back up in here. I'm going to do the same thing on top of this. Highlight it with some white. Same in there. Now, I can actually use the white in there too. Just create a few layers where it looks like there's a bit of sunlight coming in, blasting off of this. Something like that. And it actually comes in a little bit, does that light into there. Something like so. And then I'm just going to come back, clean finger, and blend that out. Softly, but don't destroy it all. That's good. Soft, nice and soft. Right, now just up in here I want to put some white in a couple of areas. It'll mix a bit with the blue, but that's fine. And then the yellow on top of that. Give it a little blend with the little finger. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to create some little clouds that are coming off of this area here, which are very soft. I don't want to overdo. I want them to be quite wispy. Just put a little bit of colour on there, into that area, just there. And then come back with a red. And just put a bit of red into that. It's going to come over a bit further. Nearly joining with that actually. Add a tiny bit more blue. There. Blend up around it to keep it light if you want as well. And then I just want to blend it in there. Soften that out a bit. There's a few little highlighted bits then that you've got in there too. I'm just gonna stick a few little bits there too. Back to the yellow. A bit of that yellow in there. Soften it off with my fingers, blend it out. That's good. That's it, just a few little highlights on that part. Now, just in there, I want to put myself a little cloud. This comes out of here. It's quite silhouette, is this? So I've got them two colours on there. Gently mix them, tiny circles, a nice soft fluffy cloud that's just up in there. Try to be as accurate as possible. See, I want some contrast, so I've just darkened it off slightly. Now when I mix them, you'll notice that a bit much darker. To clean off, I keep cleaning my finger all the time. I want it to be quite soft, all of this. All of these clouds, I want them to be really nice and soft. Showing a bit of that yellow colour underneath, which is great. It's good. Got another little cloud just underneath there. Find the right corner. I can just touch with a bit of that blue. Don't want it to be a big cloud. Just a little small one just in there to contrast against that light colour that we've got in there. Just going to totally have a clean finger again, because just in here and rub that little area out where it's a bit below it. You don't have to get it perfect every time, you see. And I can just come in there, even with my little finger, just blend that out. And when you're blending it, that's when it'll mix with this red that we're using. Bit of red. Bit of blue, until you get it where you want it. Just keep going backwards and forwards, and then again you can blend it with your little finger and just get darker. Because I'm into the white area here, it's going light on me, so I'm having a tiny bit of trouble getting that colour in, but persist with it because it will come. I think I've got it there actually. Yeah, gotcha. Perfect. Blend that a bit. That's exactly what we're after. Do a few more in there too, so that it matches. It's nice, it really works out well. Now, just with the yellow, I'm going to come on in here. Put some of that on there, just on the top edge. Just here and there though, not everywhere. And then do what I did with them, come back in with the white, right over the top of it. And then I can blend them two together. Also, a good thing to do, blend that first, like so. Clean your finger off, and then you can go into this darker tone that we've got here. It's a bit darker, and you can just push it up there. In fact, sometimes it's good to just get a decent amount of that on first. It's not having it. Just do it with this. Just darken it off slightly underneath here and there. So it's just on the very tippy top of that, where it's lit up, just on the top. Just catching a bit of that sunlight, which down in here is very silhouette. So I'm going to actually paint a bit more solid on the base at the bottom. So the blue in. Do it a tiny bit more solid, you see. Something like that. Bit of red too. Every time I do it with the blue, I go back in with the red over the top of the blue. It's just very slight, just so that it mixes with a bit of that red in there. Blend that out nicely. I'm just using my thumb then, but it's hard for you guys to see it, so I do, when I'm doing it by myself, I tend to change the angles quite regularly. Yes, not like that. Get in there. Just a clean finger to do any little touch-ups. Pick it up, bit of white on your finger, and then just come through there, and helps to get rid of any blemishes. That's coming on. I'm just going to blend up into this now with my finger, just like so. Blend right up into that with some of this, so that it's a soft edge, not a sharp edge. Right, bit of red into that. I hope you guys try a few of these pastel pictures, because I tell you, painting with pastels like this, it's really a lot of fun. I'll show you. Right, so what I've done, I've just put some white all over the bottom, all over there, from the waterline down to the bottom of the paper, and then up here you can see it's blue, and you can see where I put the red in. So I'm just going to use some of this red and just finish this part off now, just to show you all. And we've left that lovely glow there with the orange, using the yellow, Indian yellow, and some red. But when you're mixing this red with this blue, you don't need to go too silly with it. Just a little bit of red over the top of it is usually enough to do what you want. You can mix it with it then. If it's not wide enough, you can put it at a slight angle, like so. Just want to get a bit of that colour in there. Just use my little finger to just blend into that. Very tight spot is this, but I can still do it with a little finger, I'm sure. It's just a matter of blending it enough. Don't matter about below the waterline, that's irrelevant. It's only this top part where I wanted to put some red into the blue. It's quite blue anyway over there, so I won't kill it all. There we go. You can see I put all this down in here. So we're going to have a white area right in the centre. It's not white, it's just an off-white. So just in that centre area there, just going to pull down with some of that. I'm going to get some of the yellow, just a little bit of it. Then either side of there, I want to apply some of that yellow colour. There. Either side. And then a little bit of it in the centre. Just a bit. You don't need a lot, because I want it to stay very bright in there. Now, I have blues and stuff down in here as well, so I'm just going to go to the brush. I'm so used to painting. Let me think. I've got this red colour. There's going to be areas from these clouds where I'm going to use yellow. For instance, just down there where that glow is, I'll use the yellow in there, decent amount of yellow, yellow, so I'm going to do a little bit of that just in there, just a small amount there, so, and then maybe just a little bit over here, whoops, just a little bit over in there. Right, that's good. Now a bit of red, clean one side, just clean it with your finger if you like, and then with that, just going to go into here, pull some of that red down, some of that colour. Now with that yellow, just want to add some more just in there too. I was just being a bit cautious at first. And let that mix slightly there with the yellow. And what that does, it just gives a really nice orange effect to the edges. That's a tiny bit bigger than I wanted, so I can get the yellow. I only want a tiny bit of light in that centre area there, all the way down, and then with the red, and just pull into that, just pull it straight down, bit of that colour there, and you can actually blend down like so into that. Make it soft as silk. So that's for my light tones. Now I'm going to still use them same colours, especially up in here. There we go. I'm going to use some of that tone for the reflections of this little mountain or hill. Right then, over in here I want it to be more to the blue side, so I'm still going to have some of that red in there just on the waterline. I want to apply some of that red just there, blend that in. Tell you though, you want to give it a go. Get yourself a set of pastels, some of the primary colours with oil pastels. They go over the top of normal pastels quite easy then. Right, so I'm going to get some blue now. I want to pull some blue down into here. Now it needs to be darker than this, but light enough still, so that it sparkles. Just try that. Blend down from the top down. Just in there. Blend it right out. There we go. Soft as silk. Do a bit of that. Just in between there. And a bit of red. A bit of red then will give you the colours that you've used up in here. That's the whole idea. That's good. I'm happy. bit more blue in there, and I'll use that to do a darker spot. And there's a bit of that red in there too. Blend that in there nicely. Do a bit darker. That sort of thing I'm after. Allow it to blend slightly together. Right, and then on this edge here, I'm just going to use some of the blue. All from that waterline. And blend that down from the waterline down into there. I'm going to be careful how dark I go, but I do need it darker than that. Especially on this part. So by putting more blue and more of the crimson into that. There you go. That'll go darker automatically. You can see there how dark you can get it. When you blend them together, it tends to make it darker. I don't want to go too overboard. I can always make it darker, you see, but to make it lighter is son of a gun. Right then, so the whole idea now is to do just what I've done, just there, but I'm doing it to there now instead, and just along where this light is, I'm going to put a bit across there too. Because it's creeping over the top of here, the sunlight, but I still want to be having some blue tones and stuff in there, some of this reflections from this. That's what I'm doing, some reflections from that, that's why it's much darker. It gets bigger as it comes this way. And then it gets smaller as it comes down into there. Bigger, and then back down to being smaller again, something like that. Right, now with the red, just going to go over that. One side. I need a side that's clean and that's going to work. There. Just do it side to side like so. I can always blend it down afterwards, can't I? Preserving that waterline though. I'm trying not to destroy it. Keep it intact. Makes your life a bit easier, that's all. Right, something like that. I might even have to just go over it one more time with the blue. going to make it a bit darker, is that. Just like that there, that's fine. So I'm just going to blend out along the waterline first, under there. What that'll do is it'll give me plenty of pigment on my finger to be able to just pull down and defuse some of them reflections so they're not quite as strong. Remember, you can still darken these up without any worries at all. I just want to be a little reflection of that going on in there. Softens it by doing this, that softens the reflection right off. Maybe just go back in here a bit darker, just in that area. It wants to be a bit more silhouette in there. Just put more pigment on and pull down into that. Back to the red. Just a matter of working backwards and forwards with the colours. Right, so going to touch into this. See how I made it a little bit redder just on that area to match what we've got above. Just coming across a little bit so I get the pigment on my finger, and then with that just want to sort of like pull a bit of it down into here. Nice. Right, so there's a little bit of that just in there. Straight down though, straight down. It gives you them wonderful streaks and stuff that you want. And then just up with this blue, I'm going to put a few bits of blue in, just a bit higher up, just around here. Pull down again with that, or you can pull up. Better to pull up actually. Get a bit of white as well. I want that to be lightish blue. So that'll just make it zing a bit there. Just over here, I'm going to use some of that colour. Just put some little ripples in. You can even go up in here where it's darker and just pick some up. See, that's just pulled a little ripple in basically. Use all the dark areas. If you need to blend them a tiny bit, just touch them and use that pigment. It's fine. Now, just over in here, at the top edge, I'm going to darken it off a bit. And even in here a bit of that blue and the red. Right, so I'm just going to blend that really soft now. All of that I've just put in there. Creating some little ripples and stuff in the background there and the water. It's awesome what you can do with these. It really is. I want that to softly blend to that. When you start doing the circles, you see, it starts to blend for you into it. Light to dark. Nice dark colour. Just in there. Well, that light zing through though, don't kill it all. And then with the blue, I'm going to come under that a bit. Same over there. These little things that you do that make the difference. Little ripples and stuff in the water. Just want it to be so soft. Might have to go in with a bit of, if you just go in with a bit of white and just apply it to that. I just want it a bit smoother, and I can also put a ripple there, like a ripple there. See that going right through. Another ripple there. I just love making these little ripples and stuff that you can do with pastels. It's awesome. tiny bit of that in there. A little bit of that white. Because to finish it off, I'm just going to put some rocks and some boulders in here just to finish it off. Soften that off just in there. That's coming on. Right, now just in here with the blue, I'm just going to do a couple of these for you just to show you, and then I'll do the rest as soon as you've seen them, and then I can show you the reveal at the end. So we've got some rocks just up in here, little boulders. I'm just going to put them in with the blue first, then the crimson, and then a bit of black, if it's needed, that is. I'm just using the corner there. Got to find a worked corner sometimes. Either that or just work one yourself on a piece of paper. It tends to work. There. Something like that. And I want to get some charcoal, and with the charcoal, it's going to come in here and there and just darken that off. It's more or less in silhouette of these, but I just wanted them to have a bit of some colour. Just something like that. A little reflection then down there for it. And just sometimes just pull down like that. And then when you paint back in again, do a sharp waterline. And it's got a reflection. So we'll do another small one of them, just in here. Again with the black, put some black in. Pull it down, creating a little water line. There's a second rock. And they're only small at this distance, and they just get bigger and bigger as they come towards us basically. Just up in here, I'm going to do another little one just in there. Try not to rest my hand on the paper so I don't smudge this area that I've just done in there, you see. There. So that's 3 little rocks, and I'm going to do some bigger ones as well. Right everyone, you can see what I've done there. So I'm just going to come in and show you a little bit of what I've been doing. So I'm just using a more of a brown tone now for these in here, and I'm simply just going to put one more over in this edge, just over in here. So I'll show you with this. I'm going to put the brown in first, like so. Get the shape of the stone that I'm after. I want this to be quite a big one, so I want it to stand out just there. So I'm just putting, it's like a burnt sienna colour basically that I'm using, but when you put the black over the top of it, it turns into more of a Van Dyke brown because it mixes with it, you see. So I'll put that in there, just like that there, nice and dark. And then using the corners of the pastels, just the sharp corners, the edges, I'm just going to come along like so, and put that in there. And then what you do is you just simply paint with the pastels wherever you want the darks, and you can just gently go in here and there and leave some of the light brown areas in. You don't want it to be just totally dark. You want it to be bits of brown on these rocks. They're very silhouette, don't get me wrong, but still want to see, like I've left bits of highlighted areas in. That's what we want, and then you can put the dark shadows in behind them, make them stand out nicely. So there we go, the finished painting. I hope you've all really enjoyed it. I've had a cracking time, and I hope you're all going to start painting some pastels with me. So until next time, take care.